This is part 3 of kind of how I became a Barndominium builder. Part 2 right here. So if you haven't seen part 1 and 2, go check them out before you check this one out. So anyway, so now I'm building my first Barndominium. Okay, and like I said, made a bunch of mistakes. Now I'm having to deal with a lot of subcontractors. Remember, I had already dealt with one subcontractor, which was the concrete guy, right? And now that I'm, a Barndominium builder, so remember why I was hired. I was hired because I had a good concept of quality, right? Now I'm finding out some terrible things about the construction business. Meaning, for example, you hire an electrician, you hire an HVAC guy, whatever, right? And the first thing I would ask is, are you licensed? Are you insured? All the good stuff, right? Because I'm trying to do this right, and I'm trying to do this. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this for a very long time, right? So let's do it right. So they have to be licensed, they have to be insured, all the good stuff. Well, they had all their qualifications. They'd come and do a job for me, and all of a sudden, the plates, the face plates on the switches are crooked. The drywall guy, he's hanging drywall and he's taping and floating, and I bring a flashlight and I put it on the wall and I can see all the ripples, and now he's upset because I'm using a flashlight. He goes, "You're not supposed to use that." And so anyway, I'm still having the same struggles that I did with the concrete guy. Now they're big scale, right? Electricians, plumbers, framers, everybody I'm having a problem with. And this is not going the way I thought it was going, right? Because I'm going, this is easy. It's going to be easy. All I got to do is hire professionals, tell them what to do. They're going to do it. They're going to do an amazing job. And it's that easy, right? Not even close. The framer, he's doing his thing. And of course, the Barndominium, so it's different. So I'm having to tell him how to frame it. Obviously, I'm not a framer, so I'm trying to tell him, so I'm staying up at night trying to think of how we're going to do this, right? And like I said, that's why I made a lot of mistakes, because I didn't know. What I thought would work, we'd put it in and it didn't. So we had to redo it. So, the framer gets the framing done, and then, like I said, I'm having to deal with all the subcontractors. So anyway, I hired this electrician, right? And let's just say he charges $15,000. I put a percentage on top of it. I'm like, man, this is easy. He's going to do all the work. I just make sure he's there on time and he gets out of there and he does it, and I make some money. Man, this is great. Well, I was wrong, right? Because they come in, they get a percent. They get some of the work done. They need money, right? So give them some money. Then they come back and, of course, they're doing it their way, right? They'll cut holes in the framing and all kinds of stuff. They leave a mess behind. And they're going, hey, clean your crap up, man. And they're like, oh, I didn't put that in my quote. How do you not put clean up in your quote? I said, this ain't going to work for me. So you got to clean your crap up. Well, they get upset. And guess what? Now I don't have an electrician. So I go get another electrician. And the guy's like, well, I'm going to charge you X amount. Well, now I'm having to put money out of pocket to finish the job, right? I could go sue that other guy, but I need to focus on the job, right? So I'm finding out that this is getting drastically harder than I thought it was going to be. Why? Because again, the level of expectation some of the subcontractors have is not up to par to where I believe they should be, right? So after a few, hooking horns with a few of these subcontractors, we get the job done, right? Customer loves it. Like I said, we got other jobs. Everything's going great. Now, let me back up to when I was a concrete guy, right? So, like I told you, I went through college, paid my way, everything. We didn't borrow money for anything. Well, now I have my concrete guy, right? And I'm believing this whole deal about, they're like, man, you're a contractor now. You should be driving a new truck. I'm like, it goes, anybody will loan you money for a new truck. And I'm like, man, yeah, I need to be driving a new truck, man. I need to look the part, right? So, I go to the dealership, buy me a brand new truck, right? there I go driving around a 60,000 brand new dually, Lariat, leather seats. Oh man, greatest thing in the world. Just sign right here, man. So I'm all excited, right? Because I have good credit. So, you know, I need a skid steer. Just sign right here, you can have a skid steer. And man, I'm like, oh man, this is great. Well, this went on for a few years. And before 2008, around 2006, 2007, I started thinking, and I'm going, okay, this is all good and dandy. I'm driving around in a brand new truck. I'm driving around all this good equipment and stuff. I said, but what if this doesn't last forever? I mean, I'm going to lose everything, right? So I started thinking, you know what? I'm going to pay off everything I own. Everything I owe, I'm just going to pay it off. That's my new move, right? Because what would happen is I would pay off a note. Let's just say $400 a month. I'd pay that off, and I'm like, what can I go buy? Not that's going to cost me $400, but that's going to cost me $400 a month, which is the absolute wrong way to think about something, right? So that's what I would do. What can I get for $400 a month, right? And I'd go buy something else I did not need. And I realized it was a cycle, right? So I was like, another thing that's made me efficient my entire life is not being addicted to anything. As you guys see, I'm not addicted to coffee. I'm not addicted to, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't do any of that stuff, right? And I've never done it because I feel like it slows down my progress, my long-term plans. I'm like, being an alcoholic or, you know, just heavy drinker or drinker in general does not help my long-term plan. Neither does smoking, neither does needing that cup of coffee every morning. And if that's you, that's okay. All I'm saying is, in my mentality, is like needing something daily does not help me, right? I need to be on the go every day at all times. So I'm heavily against any addictions, right? Well, I started realizing that being in debt was becoming an addiction because I was always thinking about what's the next thing I'm going to buy. And then I said, oh crap, I need to stop that. So I started, I came up with a plan. I said, you know what, I'm going to take the lowest money or the smallest loan, and I'm going to pay that off as fast as I can. Then when I'm done, I'm going to take that money, put it on the next one, right? And now I'm going to get that one paid off. And I've always been a numbers guy, so I'm doing spreadsheets and kind of calculating how long that's going to take to pay it off, and I'm getting all excited about this. So I'm coming up with this way to get me out of debt, right? So I told my brother-in-law my ingenious plan, right? I'm like, man, I came up with this amazing idea, right? And this is what I'm going to do. And I tell him how I'm going to do this, and he's like, man, there's a guy on the radio every day that talks about it. Of course, I never listen to the radio or anything because I'm always just thinking, man, I'm just listening to myself think. It's the most boring thing to drive with me because I don't listen to the radio. I'm just driving and just thinking, you know. So he said, there's a guy. I said, what's the guy's name? He said, I don't know, but he said, I'll look it up. And he goes, next time I hear it, I'll tell you. So he called me the next day. He goes, hey, it's on the radio 1 p.m. every day. His name is Dave Ramsey. So that's where I started listening to Dave Ramsey and kind of following his plan, right? And then I became a huge Dave Ramsey fan. Why? Because the guy already did all the work. All I have to do is follow it, right? Followed the plan, got myself out of debt, and 2008 was hard for everybody in construction. Well, it was not hard for me. I mean, it got tough, right? Don't get me wrong. However, I had paid off everything except for that amazing truck that I had to have, right? That stupid truck was the one thing that I still owed money on. And for 2 months, I was ahead, right? So I thought I was doing great because I was ahead on payments. Well, for 2 months, I called the lender and I said, look, I don't have any money. I don't have $1,000 to give you this month. And they said, look, you're already ahead, so just pay us interest. And man, for me to not pay my bills is something very wrong. So it felt wrong But I said, well, I'm ahead, so it's okay. So we paid them the interest. And I said, man, once I'm done with this truck, never again, never again. So finally finished paying off the truck, and we were so happy. My wife and I, we were so excited. Like, okay, we don't know anybody anything now. It's just great. It was a great feeling. So we became debt free. And remember, I told you I kind of had to sleep on getting started on the Barndominium thing. Well, I was worried the most because I owed money. I was like, I can't go and try to build Barndominiums, because if that doesn't work, we're done. So we got ourselves out of debt. Once we got out of debt, we're like, okay, let's try this. And that's what kind of gave me the freedom to be a Barndominium builder, because we were completely debt free. And that's how it started. And as you guys know, now, we're pretty big now. We I have people to help me. I have, we have superintendents. We have a bookkeeper. We have, my wife works in the business too. We have Daniel that shoots video of me. Man, I never thought I'd have a guy that just follows me around shooting video. It's just some of those things that have changed over the years that have just exceeded my expectations, right? And but yeah, it's been a great ride. However, it has not gotten easier on me, in a sense that I'm still up early every morning. I'm late. I'm up late every day. Weekends, I finally had to make it to where, like, okay, we're not working weekends. You know what I mean? And now we still get some customers say, hey, can you meet me on a Saturday or Sunday? The old me would have been like, heck yeah, I'll be right there. But you know what? I have to make it to where we hammer down Monday through Friday. That's where we work. And we work long hours, right? But Saturday and Sunday, I have strictly prohibited, not strictly prohibited, but we try not to work Saturday and Sundays, if at all possible, right? So that's kind of where we are now. And now it's a lot more stressful, because there's a lot more people on the team, and I need to make sure that they're also taken care of. But at the same time, I need to make sure that we keep it fun, because fun is, if we're not having fun, it's not good, right? So that's what we do. And as you can see, here we are, just kind of telling you kind of where, kind of how all this happened. And, I'm still learning, I'm still watch YouTube channels and videos and talk to sales reps and all that kind of stuff, just kind of expanding my knowledge on these Barndominiums. And the beauty of what we do, because they are custom homes, they're custom built, we're constantly learning, because customer may want something different, right? And typically it's not that hard. Or I shouldn't say it's not that hard, but in a conventional home, like I said, they're like, oh, this is how you do it in a conventional home. Oh crap, but I got to do it in a Barndominium. And then I have to decide how things are going to change, what's going to be different, and make sure that we don't run into any hiccups. And then, of course, Leroy, my superintendent, he needs to think about the same thing as well. So, again, but it's a fun ride. And, talking to Daniel, he figured it'd be a good idea for me to kind of share the whole kind of where I'm coming from and where I came from. And this is kind of the short version of how I got to where I am today. And again, I obviously I didn't do it myself. I did a lot of it myself, but then I started surrounding myself with great people, and that's the key. One of the big keys is surround yourself with people smarter than you if you can, because that's going to be the key to success. The other key to success is do not be afraid to teach your people. Make them leaders. Make them teach them as much as you can, right? Because that's gonna get you a lot more help. That's gonna get you a lower stress life. You teach them, and then they help you. A lot of people believe, a lot of bosses, I don't even like to be called boss. They believe in, well, if I teach him, he's just gonna go and compete against me. I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? Somebody, if they want to come here, and I'm going to treat them like family, and I'm going to teach them everything I know, or as much as I know, and then they're going to decide they're going to go somewhere else and try to compete against us for money, because that's the only reason they would do it, right? then have at it. You know what I mean? We're just gonna keep doing our thing. Because the minute you're doing it for money, you're already doing it for the wrong reasons. That's how I feel. So anyway, man, this one's getting long-winded, so I'm just gonna cut it off right there. And I appreciate you guys joining us. If you were able to watch all 3 of them, good job. Pat yourself in the back, because like I said, I'm kind of starting to put myself asleep there for a little bit. So, so if you watch them all 3, good job. And I hope it was entertaining enough. Like I said, that's my story. And we will try to do some others because I also do competition shooting, and I'm going to tell you how that has helped me in business. Dave Ramsey, that's another big part of who we are today. And also Wayne over at WD Metal Buildings. By the way, they have a Instagram page, so go check them out, WD Metal Buildings. But yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna cut it off right there. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, we're about 25,000 subscribers now. So if you're not one of those, what the heck is wrong with you? Go click that button, and I will see you next time. I'm Erik, and we are Texas Barndominiums.